Imagine a sprawling urban center from 9,000 years ago where thousands of people lived without a single street, door, or palace. For over a millennium, this dense settlement thrived in total silence, with no roads to connect the homes of its inhabitants. Located on the fertile plains of modern-day Turkey, Catalhoyuk represents a revolutionary shift from nomadic hunter-gatherer life to permanent settlement. Before this, humans moved constantly in small groups, following seasonal migrations and living in temporary shelters across the wild landscape. Around 7,500 BCE, something extraordinary happened as people began constructing hundreds of permanent homes in one concentrated, bustling location. The city was a vast honeycomb of mud brick homes built directly against one another, forming an enormous, singular, connected urban block. There were no lanes separating these homes, no sidewalks for pedestrians, and no open squares for the public to gather together. Instead, the rooftops became the city's highways, where residents walked from one home to the next across a flat, elevated surface. Without ground-level entrances, residents were forced to navigate the city via these rooftops and enter their homes through ceiling ladders. This architecture was an ingenious survival strategy, providing essential security against wild animals and unwanted visitors from the outside world. Cozy buildings conserved heat, a winter marvel. Inside, these homes were surprisingly bright, with walls coated in smooth white plaster that reflected sunlight streaming down from the roof. Each house featured a large main room with platforms lining the walls, serving as spaces where families slept, worked, and shared meals. But the greatest surprise lay beneath the floor, where archaeologists have discovered hundreds of burials hidden beneath the sleeping platforms. This practice blurred the line between the living and the dead, keeping past generations physically present in the heart of daily life. Ancestors' bones below. Family history lived. Some skeletons were carefully wrapped before burial, while others were later uncovered so their skulls could be removed for ritual use. These skulls may have played an important role in ancestor worship, suggesting that death was never separated from the domestic sphere. Catalhoyuk was not just a place to live, but a canvas for art, with walls decorated in colorful paintings and geometric patterns. The walls featured hunting scenes and wild animals, revealing a rich world of complex, shared symbolism and deep cultural storytelling. Some walls displayed large relief sculptures of bulls' heads mounted directly into the plaster, emphasizing the importance of these powerful creatures. Other images depicted leopards, vultures, and deer, showcasing the diverse wildlife that existed alongside these early human settlers. One painting may even represent the world's oldest known landscape, showing the settlement itself with a volcano erupting in the background. If that interpretation is correct, it could be the earliest map ever created, marking a milestone in human intellectual development. These findings prove that sophisticated cultural narratives were already deeply embedded in the human experience thousands of years ago. Despite its size, Catalhoyuk shows almost no evidence of kings, palaces, or temples towering above the humble mud brick homes. Almost every house is similar in size, suggesting the community may have been surprisingly equal in its social and economic structure. Instead of powerful rulers controlling society, people likely cooperated through extended families and shared traditions to maintain their order. It raises an extraordinary possibility. Could one of the world's earliest cities have functioned without kings or rigid social classes? The evidence suggests it might have, as feeding thousands of people required careful planning and communal effort from every resident. The surrounding plains provided fertile land for growing wheat and barley, while the people also raised sheep, goats, and cattle. Hunting still remained important for the community, especially for wild bulls and deer that roamed the nearby forests and plains. The settlement became a center for farming, trade, and craftsmanship, drawing people together from across the ancient Near East. Obsidian, a volcanic glass prized for making razor-sharp tools, was one of Catalhoyuk's greatest resources for trade and economic growth. Traders carried this precious volcanic glass across vast distances, connecting distant communities through an early, thriving network of exchange. Even 9,000 years ago, trade networks connected distant communities, showing that civilization was becoming increasingly interconnected and complex. As archaeologists continued excavating the site, they uncovered layer after layer of history, revealing the passage of many centuries. When a house became too old, its walls were not demolished. Instead, the structure was filled with earth to create a foundation. A new home was then built directly on top of the old one, repeating this process for over 1,000 years of occupation. The result was an enormous artificial mound containing 18 distinct layers of human life, each stacked upon the previous generation. Each generation literally built upon the lives of those who came before, creating an uninterrupted record of human life and progress. Today, archaeologists peel back these layers one by one, revealing a rare, detailed window into a world nearly 9,000 years old. Very few archaeological sites preserve history so completely, allowing us to see how these people lived, worked, and died together. Yet despite centuries of success, Catalhoyuk eventually declined, and around 5,700 BCE, the settlement was gradually abandoned by its people. No evidence suggests a catastrophic disaster, as there were no signs of invasion or widespread destruction across the ancient site. Instead, the reasons for this abandonment appear more complex, likely involving environmental shifts or the depletion of nearby natural resources. Population pressures could have encouraged families to establish smaller, more sustainable farming villages elsewhere in the fertile region. Whatever the reason, one of humanity's earliest great communities slowly faded into history, leaving behind only the silent, buried ruins. Its rooftops disappeared beneath centuries of wind and soil, and for thousands of years, nobody knew it had ever existed. Then, in 1958, archaeologists finally identified the ancient mound, sparking a new era of discovery about our distant human ancestors. Excavations led by James Mellard in the 1960s revealed a settlement unlike anything previously discovered in the history of archaeology. Since then, decades of research have transformed our understanding of early civilization and the origins of urban human life. Catalhoyuk demonstrated that large, organized communities existed long before the rise of Egypt, Mesopotamia, or the Great Roman Empire. It showed that cities did not always need kings, monuments, or armies to flourish. Sometimes, cooperation alone was enough. Today, Catalhoyuk stands as one of humanity's greatest archaeological treasures, offering a unique look at our collective human past. Its houses, paintings, burials, and artifacts provide a rare window into a world that shaped the foundations of modern society. It reminds us that civilization did not appear overnight, but evolved through countless generations of ordinary people solving extraordinary problems.